Good morning, my friends. It is Friday, which means I have a fun Friday activity for you. Tadpole's here this morning to say hello and how are you? He is so super tired. Yesterday we met Miss Hunt and her dog Stanley for a socially distanced walk, and we walked all the way down to the school building and all the way back to our house, and he was so tired he was sleeping with his head under the couch and his butt hanging out underneath. So funny to look at. So he is here. He jumped in the video just to say hello, and you know that he is going to jump out in just a minute as soon as I start reading. Our word of the day, there he goes, is sensible. And sensible is an adjective, so that means that it describes something. So sensible people are people who think carefully and make wise choices. So right now we could talk about all of this stuff that's going around, and a sensible person is someone that stays at home and washes their hands so that they can stay safe and healthy. The ascendants that they give me on our little cards say that Austin decided it wouldn't be sensible to walk across a frozen pond. That would not be a very wise choice, and he thought carefully about that before he did that. So we're going to keep on reading with our Zoe and Sassafras Monsters and Mold book. I think I'm only going to do one chapter today, maybe two, depending on how long they are, so I can talk about our fun Friday activity. Chapter 2, not Chapter 2, we're on Chapter 7. Chapter 7, Kitchen Science. Mom, I hollered, what is the P word for salt in Play-Doh? Well, hello to you too, Zoe, my mom chuckled as she came into their room. Salt is a preservative. Say that with me, preservative. A preservative is an ingredient you would add to keep mold and bacteria from growing. That way, whatever you're making will last longer. But why the sudden interest in preservatives? Gorf still needs my help. My towel idea didn't work. I was thinking there must be something about his monster fur that makes mold grow like crazy, even if it's dry. Poor Gorp. That mold must be really like his fur. Was he terribly disappointed? He was so sad, Mom. He even cried. I feel so bad for him. The monster ball is only a few days away now, so I've got to figure this out. So you're thinking of trying something with salt, Mom asked. Yeah, I put on my thinking goggles and remember that salt keeps our Play-Doh from growing mold, but I should test some more things just in case the salt doesn't work, right? I can test 3 more things. What else should I try? Mom smiled at me. I bet you can figure that all out by yourself. Okay, why don't I give you some clues, and if you can't figure it out by the end of the day, I'll let you know what I would try. Tadpole says hello again. He just jumped back in the video. I smiled. Clues would be a big help. What's my first clue? Well, there are lots of different ways to preserve things against mold. Some preservatives are made in big factories, so we obviously can't use those. But lots of preservatives can be found in our kitchen. What do you think you should look at? Preservatives make things last a lot longer, so food lasts a long time. Mom nodded. You're on the right track, kiddo. See if you can figure out what the preservatives might be by looking at the stickers with the printed ingredient list. To the kitchen, Sassafras, I announced. We're going on a preservative hunt. Chapter 8, The Preservative Hunt. Preservatives, preservatives, where are you, preservatives? I muttered as I walked around the kitchen. I decided to start by looking at our counters. I saw some cooking oil we'd had forever and checked the ingredient list. The only ingredient listed was cooking oil. Maybe that was a preservative. I set it aside to check with my mom. Next, I picked up a can of beans we've had for at least a year. Beans, water, and salt. Another vote for salt is a great preservative. A jar of pickles from our garden caught my eye. We'd made them ourselves last summer, so those were pretty old too. Oh, and Mom had said that pickling the cucumbers would preserve them. I closed my eyes and tried to remember what we added. Tiny cucumbers. They were so cute. Then we poured something over them. My nose wrinkled from the memory of the smell. It was vinegar. I really don't like the smell of vinegar, which is funny because I actually use it a lot. I love playing with baking soda and vinegar. I never get tired of watching them foam and bubble when they mix. I used to make horrible faces while I played until my mom invented an awesome trick. She adds a few drops of peppermint extract to each cup of vinegar she gives me. So here's pictures of her looking around the kitchen, squinting at the pickles, trying to remember what they put in them. When I make my pretend volcanoes erupt. It smells like candy canes are floating through the air. Sassafras interrupted my thoughts with a meow and pawed at the fridge. Great idea. I'll check the fridge next. I grabbed the vinegar and set it next to the oil. I opened the fridge and poked around. Milks, eggs, butter. All had only one ingredient, like the cooking oil. But unlike the oil, we kept them in the fridge, so maybe they didn't prevent mold on their own. I was pretty sure that the cold from the fridge was keeping them from spoiling. Then my hand landed on some raspberry jam. That was interesting. I'd been working on eating this giant jar of jelly for weeks now, and it was still good. It was in the fridge, but we also kept fresh raspberries in the fridge, and black mold spots started growing on them after a few days, which means there might be something special in the jelly to keep it from molding. I took it out and read the ingredients. Raspberry, water, sugar. Maybe. I set the jelly on the counter next to my other guesses. I looked through the pantry next, but all the crackers and cereal I found listed some strange-sounding ingredients at the end. Those were probably the chemicals made in factories my mom had talked about. I couldn't even read some of their names. They sounded like another language. Here's Sassafras. She's scoping out all of the things that she's taking out as her guesses. I smiled down at Sassafras, who had decided to sit on my right foot. Any other ideas? Sassafras seemed to think for a minute and then left the kitchen. I followed. He ended up hopping on my mom's laptop and purring. I guess that meant he was all out of ideas, too. Mom looked up and smiled. Do you have some guesses for me? I nodded. We found a bunch of stuff that uses salt. That's a popular preservative. Our next guesses are oil, vinegar, and maybe sugar. Mom grinned. Great work. Those are all preservatives. I think they'd all be great to test. Are you ready to finish setting up your experiment? Just remember to change only one thing and, I know, I interrupted, and keep everything else the same. I will, Mom. There's her and Sassafras consulting to see if they had finished. The next chapter is called The Moldy Fur Experiment, and that's where we'll get into the science next week on Monday. So today's Fun Friday activity I have for you is an outside activity, but I know it's supposed to rain this afternoon and almost all weekend, and that's going to be really stinky because I like seeing the sun much better than I like seeing clouds. But I was able to do this activity from my front porch, so I didn't have to go very far, and I almost had bingo. So what I have for you, it's called Neighborhood Bingo, and you can just use a smelly marker if your mom or dad can print this for you, or you can just look at the phone and keep track of what you found in bingo, and I will share this with all of your parents on Dojo. So basically, you're going to walk around your neighborhood or just stand on your front porch and look around and see what you can see. So from my front porch, I could see a mailbox, a trash can, a dog, because Tadpole was in the window, a shovel, free space. Obviously, everybody gets free space. A door decoration, mail slot, recycling bin, Christmas lights, a light pole, and a stop sign because I live on the corner, so a stop sign was pretty easy to see. So you're going to look around your neighborhood and see if you can find these things. It's kind of like an outside scavenger hunt, and you can make bingo with it. If you win bingo, I don't have a prize for you, but maybe mom or dad or your brother or sister might give you a prize. If not, air high fives for bingo for everybody because that's pretty much all I can do right now. And I will see you on Monday in my video. So maybe I think we're close to finishing that book. So we'll see what happens with Zoe and Sassafras on Monday. Love you all. Air hugs to everybody.